All right, let's do this. This video is a proper response to Joe Couto's paper Covered in Blue. Now, okay, so let's go to the top here. So I'll read you the abstract here before I get into my critique and my deconstruction of these concepts and the relevance and importance in 2024, because this was when Joe did this. When was it? Where's your published date? Come on, Joe. I don't have a published date, but it's important nonetheless. And, you know, there's a... Okay, so then his next paper was at 2018, so gay, female cop, intersectionality of gender. University of Guelph, Hamburg, written. Okay, so that's was published in 2018, something like that. Is that correct? Okay, so I'm just gonna read the abstract here. The study examines the basic beliefs, values, and assumptions of police culture, which in the Western world has been dominated by white, working-class, heterosexual males. It further considers how the culture is perceived by and impacts the workplace and career experiences of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender police officers in the province of Ontario. Framed by Shine's cultural approach to organizational theory, a context analysis of open-ended interviews with 21 LGBTQ police officers show that most officers believe that their status and relationships in the workplace are more positive today compared to other eras. Yeah, well, at least we could agree on that. However, it also found that these officers also believe that police culture fundamentally retains a hyper-masculine and heterosexual orientation. These findings are supported by a content analysis of key artifacts from selected police services, which also indicate that the police service retained traditional and conservative values. So again, I'm going after your intellectual position, Joe, based on this paper, not you. But I will have to say that, you know, since in the paper he cites solidarity, that infers cultural Marxism and postmodernism and deconstructional analysis based on subjective interactions and not necessarily upon objective data, you know, because everybody lies. Every single person lies. And since there's fewer of these people in population to ratio, although at 30 or 40% of young people identify as queer at this point in time in 2024, as I've cited in other videos, you know, again, transgenderism, it became this monster of the young people trying to disassociate themselves from the identity of their parents and establish their own image and reflection in the mirror and within society. So this gets really complicated very fast, and frankly, 55 pages is not enough to really cover this. this is very much a snapshot, and I'm happy that you did it, Joe. But quite frankly, by this time, it is quite outdated, and I'm sure Joe, you'll probably say the same thing. Okay, so critical theory and sociology. So sociology takes what psychology establishes, and through the scientific method, and tries to figure out where and how these conclusions from the psychology become expressed through the society and through behavior within, say, group psychology. Hey, I got a book over there, let's go get it. Psychology of human relations. Now, why would I know this? Because I've been in power. I've been in power over other people. So this paper refers to a lot of citations around 2006, 2007, which is the same point in time for which I was in university. And, that's exactly the point in time in which transgenderism was becoming a thing. And, the open acceptance and celebration actually within Trent University at that era was one of the reasons why, I was happy to go there in order to antagonize my father, quite frankly. Because my father and I have not always had a very good relationship, and he doesn't always understand the intellectual concepts that I talk about, and he doesn't know how to talk about them. Okay, so I'm going to go over the motivations for police work first off. So altruism, right? There's, of course, this would be utilitarian almost, and the attraction to the allure of authority, and then also of justice and equality. These are the things. These are thirst traps for a lot of people. They're attracted to the justice and legal system for these reasons, like belonging, to stop criminality. But then there's also an element of psychopathy and sociopathy, because the most attractive thing to a police officer is a criminal. Cops and robbers, right? Is the games that we play. And then legends, to be espoused in a legend, some sort of accomplishment, a challenge that mints a coin. Vision and legacy. So what you want to see out of the society, and what kind of society that you want to see for your children, right? That's the legacy. Legacy, of course, is what you leave behind in your influence in other people, and what you establish as either a physical or abstract thing within society. Then territorial dominion and patriotism. So protectionism, right? The idea of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. It's not necessarily masculine, right? This is a thing, is that, well, within culture for hundreds of years, we've played up and we've played into the natural tendency of men to be paternal, right? And these concepts, they remove the paternal from the man because of the hypercritical nature of masculinity, and trying to tear down this symbol and this thing within society that prevents that would otherwise prevent those on the fringes from joining, and hence with burn culture and so on and so forth, and a misunderstanding of masculinity in general. Okay, Maintenance of cultural values and traditions, as I was saying, right? It's because you have to pass these things on. There's a lot of things within our culture, especially within North America, that have been fucked with way too much. And so, you know, as is the balance of the scale returns back to some sort of reason instead of disillusion and chaotic evil, right? Because we don't know that we're evil until after the fact, and the people on the other side of this argument, this deconstructionist, this atomization, decentralization, you know, again, because of cultural Marxism, sees the means of production, right? Yes, we can. We can do it, right? And these misinterpretations of original ideas from you know, even 80 to 100 years ago, because our natural tendency, whether we like it or not, is towards patriarchy, right? But also supported by matriarchy, because the binary is natural. It is scientific. It is deterministic, and people hate that. People hate that we can't escape certain elements of who we are, and they want to change, and they think that our existence is boring, and that it needs to be fucked with, and that humanity needs to be improved and utilized and optimized in the best way possible, right? As if we're machines, but it isn't like that at all. Guidance and paternal fostering. Again, so like there's people out there, they get attracted to these different governmental organizations, and I want to mold and I want to guide the youth. I want to make them into really good people, you know. I don't think that I'd be a good parent myself, but I think that I would be a good community leader. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Anyways, going forward with this, again, Joe, you're going by these. Joe is going by these interviews, right? And again, everybody lies. And as I just looping back around here to one of the first things I just said, was that because of collectivism and because of you know, the Marxist the Marxist solidarity, right? The thing is that, you know, cops and policing is not production. It's not production. The for-profit policing model has been proven to be disastrous in the United States. The amount of corruption that happens because of it, and the handshake deals, whatever goes on in the background, you know, is exactly the reason why this paper, in my opinion, is no longer relevant at this point in 2024. So, Joe, I encourage you to update this in order to maintain your credibility. All right, and you know, it doesn't account. The paper does not account for psychological issues such as dissociative disorder, gender dysphoria, and the influence of hormones. And the reason, okay, so this is basic science, right? The reason why women are so vulnerable to mood disorders is because the fluctuation of hormones, or sex hormones, such as estrogen, estrogen, and progesterone. Okay? This is the smoking gun. And testosterone, of course. And there's environmental factors of contamination that, you know, that completely and utterly destroy any kind of postmodernist argument for gay rights or transgenderism, quite frankly, right? I don't want to execute these people. I don't want to push them off to the side. I don't want to remove them from society at all. Okay, there's actual treatment. There's real treatment for people with these problems, because transgenderism removes the agency from intersex people. Plain and simple truth. Right? And then I'll refer to the book, Body Dressing, in which it's actually predatory. Again, the grooming and the information, the pediotogy, right? Again, these ancient concepts of and I'll refer to the gay Spartans, right? Is that it's an exclusive group, this elitism. They don't have to deal with women, they don't have to have children. They are warriors, and they are bastions of justice and idols and bastions of the guardian, and of these concepts of protectionism and altruism. All right, because DID, rare psychiatric disorder, diagnosed about 1.5% of the global population. 1.5 of 8 billion people is what? Is 1, 2. It's 80 million people worldwide with DID. The other part that influences this is, of course, incompetence. And where was it? I'm going to always cite the Transport Canada Dirty Dozen, because the Dirty Dozen is scientifically deduced, okay, through logical inquiry, as to the means by which we fail, and the means by which we ignore the actual problems going on because of cognitive dissonance, right? Holding two ideals in conflict with each other at the same time. And then also, this is, I put this under my points here, the reasons why people are stupid. Let's go on down. Because DID, gender dysphoria, lack of knowledge about environmental contamination, Dunning-Kruger, cognitive dissonance, target fixation, and myopia. Okay, so you're only seeing things through this lens. Okay, intersectionality is a lens. It's a filter by which we interpret the world, right? Just by which I'm demonstrating this echo chamber, right? This symbology of this studio, right? This studio. I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to my phone, and I'm watching myself go through this, right? So therefore, I have disassociated myself from the other person, you, the viewer, on the other side of the screen. So the technology is important to factor into the culture itself, right? That's one of the other things, is that it doesn't the paper and these concepts that support homosexual ideation, right, or queer identity, because when we don't have children, we replace the creation of, and the inception of the child with something else. Just like how if we don't have a belief system, if we don't believe in God, then it's replaced with Gnosticism, agnosticism, Satanism, paganism, or something, or atheism, right? This is why all of these concepts were brought through the culture in order to tear North American society down. But of course, Joe, your paper is just a single lens. It's just a single lens But that's the problem, is the fact that it's been cited by so many people. They're like, yep, that's a good paper. That supports my position. That's confirmation bias, right? When you come up with a thesis, right, and then you go out and you seek out these sources from other people, you very well hope that they're trustworthy. But again, everybody lies. Everybody lies, even me. And of course, it goes. He uses Blanchard's transsexualism typology, the fetishism, transvestitism. So that's like, that correlates to autogynephilia and to penis envy, right? We always want what we don't have, and the most screwed up of us, the women and of men, some people think that it's better. But these thoughts and these feelings are influenced by the balance of hormones within the body. Because we ignore the science. When we ignore the science, then we get what we deserve, which is a complete, utter clusterfuck. Right? Why am I fit? Right? Because I went to the doctor and he took a blood sample and we tested it. And I'm one of the healthiest people in London right now. I guarantee you that. Okay, and then so I'm going to loop back here. The technology, right? This paper is no longer relevant because of the technology and the methods by which the information was collected, right? Because of collectivism. And because of multi-generational trauma transfer. You know, the background of this does not include the trauma from world conflicts. So First, Second, Korean, Vietnam, then all the other little squabbles in the 80s, and then the Iraq War, right? And then Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Rwanda, you know, the Sandbox Wars, right? All of these things, we have to include the veterans on this, because they're the ones that are at the highest risk of suicide and of DID and of PTSD. Target fixation gets you killed. Now, again, Joe, I forgive you because, you know, at the time you went to school and you trusted your professors, and the professors believed that they were correct because everyone else just kept patting each other on the back. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good concept. That's fucking great. Let's give them a fucking Nobel Prize for peace. All right? And then, like, within, again, what body dressing says, what it says in that, right, is that hypermasculinity or femininity is gay, right? And it plays into predatory nature, right? Because within the history of propaganda, as I've said before, creativity is a threat display, and we're all territorial, right? So as I've mentioned before, maintenance of cultural values and traditions, and territorial dominion and patriotism. So what is it to be a Canadian, or what is it to be a gay Canadian? You know, yeah, I'm aggressive. I'm aggressive about this because I keep getting bullied by these people, because I keep showing the truth, and I keep getting ostracized by the people that support them because because of social connections and of you know, peer pressure and the cognitive dissonance that goes along with it. But these people are doing it to survive, because otherwise they don't have any real world skills, and their reliance upon the institutions to support them is the only thing that they have. Right? And this behavior is predatory. is predatory. Otherwise, gays against groomers wouldn't exist. The concept of a lipstick lesbian or of a twink would not exist, right? Or a bull dyke, or as I call them, turbo lesbians, because all sex is rape, right? But if we're all whores, then we're all raping each other. See, this absolutism from intersectional extremist feminism and how they partnered up with this fetishism of gay people, quite frankly, which is queer eye for the straight guy, right? And then of course metrosexuality, and how that evolved out of peacocking and the destruction of romantic love, because the process of dating, right, or at least the traditional way of dating, was to establish that you were a gentleman, right? It is very patriarchal, but it also gives power to the woman. And all of this shit takes power away from women. Because it's all a dance, right? It's all a dance. It's all about reproduction. And who gets to have children and who doesn't. So this domination of unattractive women, and unintelligent women, again, allying with the gay community and the trans community in order to raise themselves up, because men are really smart. We are. Men are some of the most intelligent people in the world. We build societies. We build institutions. We build tools. We come up with the very technology that we're using right now. And this is the propaganda. And the propaganda kills people. It kills them. It kills them in the mind, in the body, right? And the spirit. Demoralization 101. So that with territoriality, or was it, I say territorial dominion, totalitarian territorial dominion. So that's a really big conjuncture, territoriality. Oh my God. Do you know how many conjunctions and words have come up in the process, or say in the last 2 years? It scares me. Right? So this, again, back to Blanchard's transsexualism typology. Ray, I'm gonna go after Ray's position here. I will not assault. I don't do ad hominems, right? Because that discredits me. It's just basic. It's fucking basic. Ray, you've done a lot of good work here, but some of it, actually, a lot of it is wrong. It's wrong. It's incorrect now. Because all of this leads to suicidal ideation, right? The idea is associated with suicidality. And hence why I said before, again, the gender dysphoria is a DID, but it has to do with brainwashing, right? And the prevalence of MK Ultra within the society, and how marketing and the psychopathic people that seek power and control, absolute control over other people. Okay? In December 2003, the Southern Poverty Law Center reported that Ray Blanchard and J. Michael Bailey were associated with Steve Saylor's Human Biodiversity Institute, a group of far right-wingers, academics, and others associated with pseudoscientific race theories and eugenics. But it's true. It's true. Race theory, okay? Racism, okay, is based out of the fact that there's about 5 or 6 species, quite frankly, of humanity existing right now. Because if you go back to Darwinism, if we leave these 5 families of humanity alone, we develop specific adaptations to our environment. And what this does, what this critical theory, this cultural Marxism, is it tries to erase evolution. But you can't do that. You cannot do away with natural prerogative, the natural realm, and God's creation, quite frankly. God is in the machine. All of these intellectual, these abstract ideas that complicate things beyond recognition is fucking foobar. It's foobar. Again, a lot of what Blanchard is stating here, even just I'm just reading from his Wikipedia, is correct, but it needs to have an update, right? And he was involved with the DSM-5, and this is why he served on the DSM-4, and then named to the DSM-5 committee. We need a DSM-6. There needs to be an update because so much has changed and has been influenced because of the culture and because of technology and the specific adaptations that people have now to the technology. You know, autistic people and the hyper intellectuals don't even need to talk to each other, right? Because all you have to know is the body language, because as a psychological principle, 70% of communication is body language. So yeah, I'm angry. I'm not quite going full Bruce nuclear, but when I do go full Bruce nuclear, you'll fucking know about it. And we have all these tech bros and these people with PhDs, again, in the ivory tower, that don't have real world experience on the floor, watching this all play out like I have. The sins of the past, right? The son inherits the sins of the father. And the things that the father didn't fight for become the onslaught and the suffocation of the son. Again, a lot of the roles of the ideas, the concepts of police, gay police officers at least, and how their orientation and their mentality influences their judgment, because it does, right? And that's why you have to get rid of these inherent biases with objectivity, because good police work is based upon that fucking evidence. Fuck's sakes. Critical theory is bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's old. It's irrelevant. Everybody's narcissistic now, right? This has been explained by more than one psychological intellectual. We're all narcissistic now. We're all fucking paranoid. We're all fucking schizoid because of the nature of the machine and the algorithms, these encodings, the DNA principles of behavior, right? If and or, because we're not dictated, we're not ruled rather by different principles, because we came up with the Venn diagram and the crossover and the political compass and these ideas of neutral, chaotic, and evil, or neutral, chaotic, and orderly, whatever it is. Lawful, that's it. Lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good. Lawful neutral, true neutral, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil, chaotic evil. So this stuff plays into subject subjectivity. So the philosophical principles and objectivity. So the objective observation of the object, and then the subjective interpretation of the subject. Subject is not object. Subject is the derivative of the object. So then you're specifying things into obscurity. Again, atomization, demoralization, kaboom! Fucking nuke society, nuke everybody. Nuked. Just fucking nuked. Scorched earth, motherfucker. This is why tech companies are not governments, and they don't have a place in censorship or molding and guiding people to a certain behavior just because that's espoused to be the idol, the ideal, and the sacrosanct. Again, these creative people and the bullying of women, or the matriarchy, and that has to do with eugenics, right? Ray, like I said, he's right about a lot of things, but there's just some things have changed. I don't support his ideas of transsexuality because of sex reassignment surgery, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So many of those people, they kill themselves. Not because of the societal attitudes, but because it's the conflict of the cognitive dissonance. Right? What you see is not what reflects. Or what you see, the reflection in the mirror does not reflect the person. It reflects an ideological position and brainwashing and indoctrination. Because some people will just do anything for peer pressure out of feigned weakness and not having the concept of a fully integrated self. Like, I can't fight this feeling anymore, okay? Because it's this schizoid thing to think and to understand and to know that there's people out there that are messing with my fucking life. There's people out there that don't want me to reproduce because I'm attractive, because I'm intelligent, and I got fucking balls. Fuck's sakes. I'm not the best at everything. But you know what? I will always be a leader. And you can't take that away from me. This fucking subjectivity, I'm looking at this famous graphic by the Trans Student Educational Resources. These people on the other side of the argument, I'm going to say this to you right now. You have an opportunity to fix the damage that you've done. Right? Because of this religious idealism that we are created in God's image. And that infers a logical fallacy that transgenders are then part of God and humanity and this existence. But it's not. The homosexuality and transgenderism and queer questioning arises out of peer pressuring, curiosity, and environmental contamination. Because, as I said in the beginning of this video, the hormones matter. They really matter. And when you don't account for the scientific environmental factors, and then also the psychological factors, right, from the Dirty Dozen, right? Because this is where we go wrong. This is where we end up with a disaster. We end up with a Mayday scenario, okay? And the fucking airplane spontaneously disassembles. And then people die for no reason at all because of attitudes and of arrogance. This shit gets me so fucking mad. This is why I can't sleep at night. Well, at least one of the reasons, right? Because I was sold into slavery for shit like this. Right? They saw this group of people within this ideological collectivism sought to upend the patriarchy and assault, again, the police officers, the firefighters, the lawyers, the doctors, the engineers, all these prototypical things that attract men and are of a masculine ideation, a masculine conception. But because some women just don't want to fucking have kids. And they're rebellious about it. And they want to live in Never Never Land. Let's just put the fucking blinders on, okay? We're going to live in virtual reality. Everything's great. I can be what I want. Just give me some more joy. Oh, yeah, that's really good. Oh, nope. I can't feel anything anymore. I'm feeling really murderous now. Oh, killing people is really awesome. Okay, that's not an admission of guilt. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired and avoiding the zombies, right? Because of group psychology. People want inclusion. They want to be involved in something. But then they're too afraid to stand out and apart from the crowd and create something amazing and original. And I tell you, amazing and original is my middle fucking name. Okay? I may have taken these source photos from the internet, but I made the images my own. And that's what makes me an artist. And that's what makes me a genius. Because I saw what was good in the world. And I hope you do too. So again, shout out to Ray here. Ray Blanchard, even though we're on opposing sides of the sexology. And to Joe. Joe Couto. And then also to Jordan Peterson. To Alice, quite frankly. The woman that came up with the conception of femcell from Toronto. Even Feminist Frequency, thank you for existing so I could tear you to fucking shreds. Fuck's sakes. And also all the women that I've interacted with along the way. My failures are my triumphs now. Because I am the man. I am the fucking man. And again, people have sought out to assassinate me. They've sought out to eliminate me from the gene pool. And my rage is true and it's valid. And I have every right to be angry. Because when people aren't helping you, right? Kant's moral philosophy. Good Samaritan from the Bible, okay? If you don't help someone, or you at least don't attempt to try, then you're guilty. And you're responsible for their annihilation. And the Armageddon of humanity. Thanks for watching. And thanks for recognizing the history of propaganda within our time. Because if we don't, we're all fucking screwed.